still talking about the situation between the genocide with the Israelis against the Palestinian people that's currently taking place. And as I've been doing throughout the show, relating into kind of the push for reparations that we have in the African American community, and understanding when you have a downtrodden community being oppressed by colonial power, black folks have more experience with that than anyone else on the globe, and that's why we should have an interest and a sensitivity to those things taking place. But we've been wrapping around this conversation related to reparations also. The National Reparations Conference is that's coming up, so we're bringing in Brother Muhammad to talk about that right now. Brother Muhammad, how are you doing today?
Attorney Patillo, how you doing?
I am outstanding. So tell us about the conference coming up soon, right over there in the AUC with regards to reparations.
Yeah, it's thank you so much, and to your listening audience. This coming Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, November 2nd through the 4th, we will be having the National Reparations Indaba, and it's the third. And Indaba means Swahili word means great gathering or sitting down, and we will be having that particular summit Indaba coming up Thursday, Friday, and Saturday at the Atlanta University Center at the Robert W. Woodruff Library. And what's key about it, Attorney Patillo, we're not asking for a big rally, protesting, picketing, prayer breakfast, or pleading or petitioning for reparations. This is centered around the blueprint for complete reparations. There is a process that we must implement. And at the end of the day, you and I know it ends up being a public policy issue. And so one of the things that there will be student panel discussions. We're bringing in a number of these noted scholars, researchers, also leaders and activists in the movement. And the key is it will be student and youth centered also. This particular summit that's coming up. Some of the luminaries that will be there. I just got off the phone with Dr. Ray Wimbush from Morgan State University. He will be in the city. He heads the Urban Policy Center there. He wrote the book more than almost 20 years ago, Should America Pay?, which became one of the national bestsellers. He'll be there. Dr. Rosie Milligan out of Los Angeles, California. She's very good on and will be doing the lecture or the presentation on complete reparations is generational wealth. So she'll be doing that lecture. Then Attorney LeGrand Clegg will be in town also presenting. He's a longtime noted civil rights attorney as well as African-centered attorney out of Los Angeles. He will be in Atlanta at the Atlanta University Center. And again, of course, Dr. Ife Williams, internationally known political scientist from our department of political science at Clark Atlanta University. She will be there presenting also her international piece on reparations. And then Reverend Mark Thompson will be there out of D.C., New York area. He will be there presenting on reparations. So, again, we just have a good lineup. And then at the end of the day, we do have a strategic plan. We're not just having a meeting every year. This is the third year we've done it. But our job is to turn the corner, Attorney Patillo. And what do you mean by that, Professor Muhammad? Well, what I mean by that is that finally we will have 5 select committees that will evolve out of this particular Indaba. And those 5 select committees are, number 1, education and culture. Number 2 is economics and investment. 3 is public and mental health. 4 is state and land acquisition. And 5, public policy and legislation. And what's key about that, Attorney Patillo, and to the audience is that finally we will issue the latest recommendations and research that will be edited and published and disseminated. We know H.R. 40 will pass at some point. We know even Georgia has a reparations initiative. But where is the current research coming from and recommendations? And that's how we ensure that we control our own narrative and we control the outcome by doing these select committees and them issue their final recommendations in the form of a white paper or position papers. So that's what's key, and that's what's a little bit different. We're not looking for 300 or 400 people at the Indaba. We're looking for those who are serious and ready to organize. Whether we don't care anything about your ideology, your philosophy, or your theology, as long as you're talking complete and advocating for complete reparation for the masses of our people. And so everyone is invited. Organizations are invited. And again, Attorney Patillo, if you can imagine, when you walk in and we need you at the table and others who are from organizations, because if you can imagine walking into the Woodruff and you see the big boardroom style setup with 100 mics all the way around, and everybody getting a chance to voice and take a position. And we will be doing some polling right there. Be doing some polling right there at the Woodruff, also doing it in real time. So it will be a historic event. We are asking those to come out from whether they're students or youth. Also, whatever organization you're from. Like I said, we're not caring about your theology, your philosophy, or your ideology. We're talking complete reparations for the masses of our people. And it will just be a great historic gathering. And again, we've gotten commitments from a number of the national leaders and organizations that will be on board. Then it is virtual also. For those who can't make it, if you go to our website, nationalreparationsinstitute.org, you can register to do the virtual piece as well as in-person piece. So, and Attorney Patillo, if you got time, I'll take any questions about what we're doing. The National Reparations Institute is the only policy center and think tank in the country centered on Black reparations. We're not competing with any of the organizations. That we are making sure that we feed our organizations. And our 4 objectives at the National Reparations Institute is, number 1, is to consolidate the movement. Number 2 is to make sure we control our own narrative. Number 3 is to implement the National Reparations Declaration. And then number 4 is to make sure that we've implemented a collective culture model that will actually secure reparations for Blacks in America. And we look at it at the federal, state, and local level. We are doing research. Senator Sanders from the state of New York is scheduled to be in town to participate. And again, like I said, just a host of luminaries and scholars and activists and just working people will be at the Woodruff Library to ensure that we finally turn the corner on reparations.
Now, we talked about H.R. 40 before. John Conyers started introducing H.R. 40 for over the course of over 40 years. And since then, Sheila Jetson Lee picked up the ball on that and has introduced it for the last nearly 10 years since John Conyers passed away. She's now running for mayor in Houston, Texas, and if she wins, will be leaving Congress. Who do you think picks up the fight after Sheila Jetson Lee?
Well, one of the things is that we will probably see even Hakeem Jeffries, one close to the leadership as far as the Congressional Black Caucus, because what it is that we've had over 140 people now for the first time, representatives who have signed or co-signed on to the bill. And then, and remember, too, Senator Cory Booker introduced it in the Senate. So we have some of the best support that we've ever had. And so one of the things that has to happen, and that's going to be pushed at the Indaba coming up, is that our people, we have always, too often we have been advocating and politicking without a quid pro quo. And so this time, it's our job to make sure from the presidential election on down to the at the state and at the local level, the quid pro quo is that it's going to be complete reparations, or don't come and ask for our vote. Because at the end of the day, the time is so critical, it's much needed. And if America and the corporations that owe us and the nonprofits that owe us, if they once we decide that's the quid pro quo from Blacks and collectively we push it, we can start to secure reparations. This is not a 20 or 30-year plan down the road. You will never hear me on your show or anybody else's show talking about we won't see it in our lifetime. No, that's not how American politics work. And you and I know that that at the international, national, and local level, there's always a quid pro quo. And at the end of the day, they will respond if you ill effect or if you help or hurt their power-based, their profit-based, their policy-based, and privilege-based. And that is called the quadruple-based paradigm. And Attorney Patillo, my students have to, at the AU Center every year, no matter what class I'm teaching, I teach the quadruple-based paradigm, and they have to understand and know that that's how economic and political decisions are made in this country. A lot of times, these decisions are not based on what is civil, what is right, what is fair, or what is just, or what is equitable. They make decisions based on, okay, will it help or hurt our power base, our profit base, our policy base, and privilege base. And that's what will happen with the reparations initiative, H.R. 40 at the federal level, and even at some of the state and local levels. How will it help or hurt their power base, their profit base, their policy base, and privilege base? And that's how they will decide reparations.
All right, if you can stick with us, we can ask some questions from the other side of